What is Project Charter? A project charter is a concise, formal document that certifies the existence of a project and gives project managers official permission to start working on it. Before the project is thoroughly scoped out, a project charter paper outlines the project in order to establish a common understanding of its goals, objectives, and resource requirements. A project charter functions similarly to a project's roadmap. It explains the purpose of the project, the people participating, and the methodology. It serves as the definitive guide for all project decisions, keeping the endeavor on course and in line with its initial objectives. Usefulness of Project Charter. A project charter is useful because it acts as a cornerstone for initiating and defining a project. By formally authorizing the existence of the project and allocating necessary resources, the project charter aligns stakeholder expectations and facilitates effective communication. Project charters also empower project managers by establishing their authority and responsibilities, fostering efficient decision-making and resource management. Additionally, the project charter serves as a starting point for detailed planning and the development of the project management plan, ensuring a clear direction and the necessary support for project success. Who signs and issues the project charter? The project charter is typically created by a combination of stakeholders, including the project initiator or sponsor, project manager, business analyst, and potentially some members of the project team. Input from these stakeholders helps ensure that the project charter accurately reflects the project's purpose, objectives, and scope. The project sponsor, who is usually a high-ranking member of the organization with decision-making authority, is responsible for signing and approving the project charter. By signing the project charter, the project sponsor formally authorizes the project to proceed and grants the project manager the authority to utilize organizational resources for the project's execution. Why is a project charter important? A project charter also functions as an agreement between the sponsor and the project manager. It lays down each party's obligations and responsibilities as well as what will happen if the project is not finished on schedule or within the allocated budget. Many advantages lead one to ask why a project charter is crucial. 1. It makes the project's purpose crystal clear. Because a project charter explicitly lays out the business case for the project, it means that everyone knows how the project contributes to the company's big-picture strategic goals. It ensures that your project isn't just ticking arbitrary boxes, but is actually doing something that will impact the business's overall objectives. 2. It helps you to identify your stakeholders. The project charter plays a really important role in formulating your project management plan overall, but one of the areas where it's especially useful is in helping you to identify key project stakeholders early. As soon as your project charter has been completed, you can start to do your stakeholder analysis, which means that you can start to involve key stakeholders in tandem with creating your project plan. 3. It bestows authority to the project manager. Okay, bestowing anything can start to sound a little medieval. But whether you bestow, bequeath, endow, or grant it, your project charter officially gives your project manager authority over the project. This means that they have the power to plan and control the project, and it establishes their role to the rest of the project team and stakeholders. 4. It's your North Star. Okay, we kind of alluded to this already, but it's worth repeating. While your project plan is great for seeing if you're on track with tasks and timings, sometimes all those minute details can be more of a distraction. Your project charter, on the other hand, is the absolute essence of your project. So, if you're ever unsure whether something is steering you in the right direction or taking you off track, your project charter helps you and your team to cut through the noise and reevaluate whether the work you're doing aligns with your ultimate objectives. Creating project charter. A project charter is used to formally authorize the majority of large initiatives. A project charter designates a project manager or leader and outlines the objectives of the endeavor. Throughout the course of a project, charters can be extremely helpful tools for managing expectations, schedules, and budgets in order to achieve the best possible outcomes, and this outcome includes the followings. 1. Get familiar with how your organization does it. Make the most of any existing organizational process assets that you have at your disposal. Are there previous project charter examples you can draw on? Does your department have a project charter template? Examples and templates can really help you to get a sense of how things are done and what's important to your organization, so you can follow suit and start off on the right foot. 2. Write it in basic, easy-to-understand language. It can be tempting to use fancy phrases and complex terminology to appear more impressive while creating your project charter and arguing for the significance of your project. However, in general, it's best to use plain language, especially when it comes to your project charter. 3. Keep your project plan close, and your project charter closer. Alright, perhaps not that close. However, putting your project charter in a drawer won't cut it in the real world. It must be kept in a visible location that you, your project sponsors, and your staff can all access when necessary. A content collaboration workspace such as Team Workspaces can be useful in this situation. Your project charter and other crucial papers can be stored in a shared, centralized workspace where everyone can access the information they require. Contents of project charter. A project charter should always include an overview, an outline of scope, an approximate schedule, a budget estimate, anticipated risks, and key stakeholders. Each of these sections should be brief, but as thorough as possible. Let's go ahead and talk about the sections. 1. Project Overview. A project overview has a descriptive title, a summary of the problems the project will address, and how you'll achieve it. Add any links to project dashboards and team portals for easy access to ongoing status. Give your project a descriptive name. The title should provide a high-level description of the project's goal. Next, draft a succinct project description that outlines the project's objectives, degree of priority, key objectives and benchmarks, and any dependencies on current or previous initiatives. 2. Project Scope. This is the stage where you need to state everything that is included in the project's scope and, just as important, the things that are not. It is also important to define how you will measure your project's success. This success can include ROI projections, % increases in sales, fixes to a known issue, or many other factors, depending on the type of project. 3. Estimated project schedule. A project timeline must consider how long your team will need to complete the task, not how long you anticipate it taking. To estimate how long it will take to do project activities, consult your team. Organize your stakeholders and work team before developing a task breakdown structure. 4. Anticipated risks. Describe any potential risks that the project may encounter. Risk assessment is critical in anticipating challenges and addressing them before they become insurmountable and ultimately make your project run behind schedule. 5. Estimated project budget. Prepare an estimated budget for your project from start to finish. Be sure to include estimates for physical project elements, labor time and cost, and any additional resources you may need. Your budget should always include room for unforeseen events and emergencies, which can increase project costs dramatically if they arise. 6. List of key stakeholders. Consider creating a communication plan and providing a link to that information. Creating this plan at the project's outset ensures that preferred contact frequency and communication style are available to everyone. When you're ready to create your own project charter, check out our free project charter template and guidelines. If you have enjoyed this video, don't forget to visit our online educational platform at www.eduslides.com by registering for free courses. Guess what? You can as well earn a certificate of completion after completing your course, and you don't have to pay to register. Why not subscribe to our YouTube channel to get more videos by clicking the subscribe button below?